it's your boy Ancient Albatross here again, behind the scenes as usual, but we have the usual suspects of the Cypher Unlimited crew. We have Spigs18 or Anthony, we have Alpha Dean or Simply Dean, and if you haven't already, be sure to follow us here on Twitch or subscribe to us over on YouTube. You can also check us out on the Anywhere door on Moonbeam, which is Monte Cook Games' new streaming platform where they're trying to gather as many Monte Cook Games content creators as they can in one place, so we're also live there. If you haven't checked it out, now's a great time to do so. It's definitely going to be a great hub for a bunch of Monte Cook Games creation content. But without further ado, Anthony, what are we doing here tonight?
Oh, we got a lot of stuff. Monte Cook Games, Monte in particular, has been keeping us busy. So now I don't even know where we're going to go live because they're dropping stuff left and right. But before we even get into that, I just want to remind everyone again, CypherCon 2025 player signups is open right now. So if you're new to the Cypher system or a veteran player, you want to roll some funny shaped math rocks with some cool people, join the Cypher Unlimited Discord and get the link to our sign-up genius document to pick up some cool games to play. We have a bunch of MCG official adventures, original adventures designed by members for the community, plus fantastic adventures designed by Cypher content creators like Ken Hub, Gonza Gaming, Shadow Main, Alpha Dean, Underground, Oracle. And most importantly, it's totally free, guys. And surprisingly, we're filling up a lot of games, so you might be running out of time. We're thinking about adding a couple more slots in, who knows? But right now, just to be safe, you should head on over there and enjoy some games. Because I think we're about 50 or 60% full already, and we have like a month to go. So if you want to play, you want to play with us, play with other Cypher content creators in the community. And I can announce this now. It's not up yet, but Sean K. Reynolds has decided to run 2 games of Gunslinger Nights. But those games will be raffled off for the con. We'll set up that raffle dates and times in another week or so. But that's not why we're here. If you may or may not know, there's some big rumblings going on in the Monte Cook Games space, specifically the Cypher System universe. There's possible changes coming to the Cypher system. Monte Cook and Monte Cook Games both released. Monte Cook released his design diary today, and Monte Cook Games released another email called Cypher Design Notes, how rules support the genre. And Monte Cook Games design diary was explaining all the injuries and wounds mechanics and what we could expect changes are going to be mechanically. Like always, we're going to read both of these emails and documents as a community, and then we're going to speculate. We're going to jump out the window together. So let's read the shorter of the 2 first, Dean. Read the Cypher design notes, how rules support genre, and we'll talk about that.
All right. So this was one in the series of, I'm not, because that's just basically the intro to all of that. We don't need to read all of that. So we recently talked a bit about how damage and injury and wounds are changing for player characters. That leads us to a related bit of reasoning. It's mechanics. In an action movie, characters perform incredible feats and fight bad guys through sheer grit, generally without superpowers, magic, or ultra tech. In an epic fantasy, noble warriors and powerful wizards defend weak against the forces of darkness and with amazing powers. But those powers are entirely different than what you'd see in a superhero movie. And in a horror movie, the characters are likely just as fragile as you and I with a few extraordinary resources. Cypher covers all manner of genres with the coming changes, and with the coming changes are going to let you tailor gameplay more distinctly to the expectations of your game. You've seen this in the past with genre-specific subsystems like power shifts and horror mode, but you'll have more fundamental tools to make your game feel like, well, your game. Wounds are a good example. You can easily modify the amount of punishment a character can withstand based on the style of story you're running. In a dungeon exploration style fantasy game or a modern action game, characters can get the ability to withstand a few more minor or moderate wounds, while in a superhero game, the PCs can take a few extra major wounds and keep going. But there's more. The amount of time it takes to recover from a wound is affected by this as well. Our pulp action hero might pull themselves out of a cave, take a moment to catch their breath, and be fine, while a gritty sci-fi character who survives a battle with a warbot might have to spend some considerable time in the med bay. Conan might shrug off a blow or something of some tentacled monster, but a person in modern day horror story might end up in the hospital or worse after their encounter with the very same creature. Both of these attributes, recovery time and the volume of damage characters can sustain, factor to easy dials to turn to make the game work in the way that feels right. And while we provide genre by genre guidance, you'll be able to fully customize your game. Want a gritty, deadly superhero game? Maybe give a character the damage taking ability recommended for the superhero genre, but keep the recovery process at the baseline. Want a non-lethal post-apocalyptic game where the characters can just keep going and going? Easily done. Damage isn't the only category in which you can fiddle with the core mechanics to best represent the genre of your game, but it's a great example of how Cypher's flexibility is growing. And as we've discussed, we're doing this work for you to bake these variations into all genres, saving you time and work when you're launching a campaign or setting up a one-shot, while retaining Cypher's toolbox like flexibility to tinker and customize to your exact vision. And then they gave us a few bullet points. You'll be able to tweak some Cypher mechanics to best reflect the style and expectation of the genre you're playing. Damage is a great example. You can vary the amount of damage PCs can take and how quickly they recover. We're baking differences like these into the characters and guidance for specific popular genres, but you'll also be able, as Cypher has always allowed, to customize for your particular vision. So that was the first one, the design notes.
That right there, I think, pretty much told us everything that we were expecting. But before I even get into it, Mike, thank you so much for the 5 gifted subs, dude. You're always too kind and too generous. We appreciate you, brother, and we love you.
Absolutely. And now the next one.
Oh, hold on, Dean. Let's talk about this.
Oh, okay. I thought you wanted to read them both first. Okay, let's talk about it.
This right here, I think this just reinforces everything that we've been talking about for the last 2 weeks. I think everything is going to be based. All the changes are going to be genre specific. So I'm expecting to see all the optional rules from the white books going into the Cypher core book. I think everything that was any important optional rule from any of the genre white books, I think you're going to find those rules in the genre section of the new Cypher System Revised.
And
I think you're going to get everything from Stay Alive in the horror section, everything from Claim the Sky in the super section.
I might be reading a little bit much into this, but just because something specific came up when they were talking about pulp and they made Indiana Jones, I think we might be getting, we were talking about possible more genres in the core book. I think we might get a pulp section, which will have me totally excited because I love pulp. I think we might get that, and that might be a white book. I'm just throwing it out there, but
I'm just gonna flat out say it. Someone from MCG is watching our streams or taking notes because especially when we're gonna read Monte's article, a lot of the questions we posed and what chat posed in our last stream, I think are being answered in both of these updates.
Yeah.
Right. There is, I always have to play devil's advocate, and I always have to play the speaker for the complainers on the server. Complain is not a good word. Speaker for the people that are concerned on the server, right? There's one bullet point in here that's could be a little concerning or worrying for someone that's already on the fence about being worried. And I'm talking about the bullet point of, where was it? Damage is a great example. You could vary the amount of damage PCs can take and how. No, wait up. Oh, no, it's the one before. You're able to tweak some cipher mechanics to best reflect the style and expectation of the genre you're playing, right? That gives the implication that it's going to rely heavily on DM fiat and rulings over rules, which I'm perfectly fine with. But some people might have an issue with it when they look at it as, oh, wait a minute, there's not no standard array of how damage works across every system, and I have to tweak it myself. And they might, they might see that as a drawback.
And you know what? Since you play devil's advocate, I'm going to do what I always do and try to flip it.
Dean, you muted.
No, I'm not.
Can anybody hear Dean?
Can you guys hear me on the stream?
Or am I muted?
I hear Dean just fine. I unmuted myself. Hi, stream.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I hear everybody.
Oh, now I can hear Dean. I couldn't hear Dean.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I'm going to do what I always do, and I'm going to show the other side of it because Anthony loves to do that. And I try to get people to look at it through the opposite lens. MCG is about to give us a whole bunch more guidance, but I think that guidance should also help people who are not comfortable using the GM fiat or using the idea of tweaking it to their expectation. I think with the more guidance that we're going to get, it should make it easier for people to start leaning into that because there will be a framework, there will be guidance. I mean, we'll see. I mean, just think about it. They're telling us.
That's what I mean. Like, D, you like to run in assumptions. I can only go by what's written, right? Like, there has to be a section that's saying, hey, this is how you do it. If you say, hey, you making these decisions because, like, they has to explain it for sure. I'm not saying for me. I'm just saying.
I'm not saying for you either. I'm not saying for you. I'm saying from this perspective. I'm not making an assumption. I'm saying with the more guidance that we're getting, all of these extra things that they're adding, this should make it easier for those people who don't normally like it. That's all I'm saying, because a lot of times, like when we have discussions on the server, I've noticed that people who have a concern, and then, you get 5 or 6 of us who are okay with making these assumptions or, tweaking the system, and we give them examples. They go, oh my God, okay, that makes sense. Okay, I feel better about doing this now. And I think we're going to help those people. Now, the people that just don't like it not being capped and granted, of course, they're not going to like it. That's just going to be more, more angst for them, even though there's more stuff, because they don't like the fact that the book says, hey, make a ruling, do your thing. What is your interpretation? They don't like that at all. They don't want that in the book at all.
I don't know. You see, I don't know. I don't necessarily agree with that statement. I don't think that they don't like it. I think that they have a harder time grasping the concept. It's not necessarily whether they like it or dislike it. So there has to be better explanation on how to do how to do that narratively and mechanically.
And that's what I'm saying.
I'm not like everybody on the server isn't complaining because they dislike it. You know what I mean?
But so my point being, if you're not complaining because you don't dislike it and you're just looking for more guidance, all of this new guidance should be the catalyst, the bridge for you to be able to do it. You understand what I'm saying? That's where I'm coming from with it. That's how I see it. But that's just me.
Yeah, I mean, the guidance is in there. That's what I'm saying. The guidance has to be in there. We can't assume anything.
I'm not making an assumption, but just from everything.
You're saying it like it's fact when there hasn't been anything stating that it is. That's the only point I was trying to make.
I guess you're right, but what I'm saying is from the things that have been said and what we're getting in these design diaries and stuff, it's leading me. It's making me feel that much more comfortable. That's all.
Oh, the one thing I'm 100% positive of is that this book is going to be way better organized. Like I mean, and they keep on saying it over and over again. Like from every article that's been posted, I personally think from character creation to sitting down and playing a game,
Anthony just froze on me.
Yep, I think his internet just borked. Hey guys, it's me again from behind the
see
scenes.
today. These are all the optional rules for the GM.
Oh, he's back.
These are, like this is all the how the foci is going to be set. What can you use? This is how you make a mage. This is how you make a ranger. It's going to make it run so much smoother, or at least that's how I'm interpreting it.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, you borked there for a minute, so at the beginning of whatever you were saying, Anthony, but I think we got the gist of it at the end there. You froze up on us, but yeah, but the end of your statement, I think we got the gist of everything, because what you're saying is the fact that we're going to get genre specific direction on character options out the gate is going to be awesome. And it's going to make life so much easier. Like you said, you want to run a fantasy game. Guess what? We got rangers, we got dwarves, and we got, rogues, and so on and so forth. You want to run a sci-fi game? We got pilots, we got warriors, we got cops, and so on and so forth. All of those things are going to make for a much faster game, especially when you're designing your games. As a GM. So
yeah, I also think too, and we could be wrong about this, but I also think that once again, the way that all the phrasing is coming out, the Cypher System revised book or new edition or whatever they want to call it, right? It's going to be way easier to build your own world, your own setting. Like for the people that don't necessarily want to run a pre-scripted setting, or it's gonna be way easier to say, hey, look, I'm creating this fantasy sci-fi world with mix of post-apocalyptic, themes. Bam, bam. I just grabbed these 3 sections of the book. I have everything for me right in front of me. Now I can start creating.
See, you just said something, and I don't know why, but the way it came out of your mouth, it sounded like you said bam, bam. So now I'm thinking about doing a Flintstone game.
Well, we get the tune. Remember, we asked for a tune.
Yeah, we asked for tunes. That's right. So and now it's like, okay, we got to do Flintstones. Flintstones and the Jetsons.
We get the tunes. But I think this article was more like the let's ease everyone's minds and show you how Cypher's not changing, because they mentioned damage slightly, but I think Monte gets into gets more in depth on what the actual changes are going to be in his design diary. So I just want to touch on this. And like always, guys, if you want to be up to date on everything, all the changes happening with MCG, whether it's from the website or from the email blast or from Monte Cook Games' website, go to the backer kit, sign up to be notified, and you'll get emails as soon as this stuff pops up. That's how I know. I got an email. I emailed the guy, hey, yo, 1 article dropped.
Yeah, and then about 2 articles dropped.
Another article dropped. So the same way we get those emails, if you want to be in the know, just head on over to the backer kit and, just sign up to be notified.
Like I said, I look forward to these. I was sitting in the doctor's office today reading design notes, so it was pretty cool.
I was surprised that they dropped 2, though, to be honest. This is the first time they dropped 2 in one day.
Right. Well, you want me to jump into the Monte's design diary?
Yep.
All right, so this one is called Cypher Design Diaries, Injurious Rules. So Monte says, as I wrote a bit ago, our own experiences as designers alongside what we've heard from players have prompted some changes to the Cypher system. A frequent area of discussion has been the way PCs suffer and track damage. The idea in Cypher has been that as you suffer wounds, you get weaker and are thus able to do less amazing things than when you were fresh in hell. Some GMs have said, however, that this system makes their players less likely to use points from their pools for effort to improve their chances on a task or utilize their special abilities. It felt, they said, like too much of a risk to spend their hit points, while There are plenty of ways to explain why this isn't really an appropriate way of looking at it. The truth is that D&D is so deeply embedded into the mindset of so many gamers that a lot of us just can't help but hoard whatever kind of points our characters have, like misers clutching pennies. So I started looking at a different ways to do it. Fresh off of designing the Magnus Archive role-playing game, I was really in the mindset of having categories of damage, so to speak. In that game, when you take any sort of mental shock, you will stress. If you suffer anything that might send a person to the hospital, you track it as a serious injury, like the damage track in Cypher. Take even a few such injuries and you risk death. It is meant to be a very lethal game where your character's life is always in danger when knife or one of the monsters of the setting. That's too lethal for most gamers, and the idea of stress isn't always appropriate for every game. But the general idea of narratively talking about injuries and wounds rather than points of damage was appealing, and it spoke to the goal of preserving the story-based focus of Cypher. It's not doubling down on it, if not doubling down on it. In this new take, there are minor, moderate, and major wounds, each tracked separately. Minor wounds don't debilitate you until you take the max you can withstand, usually 5. At that point, further minor wounds become moderate wounds. When you suffered 4 moderate wounds, your tasks become hindered, and further minor and moderate wounds are tracked as major wounds. Each major wound you sustain hinders your actions by another step, and if you take just 3 of these, you're dead. But they don't always work in a cascade like that. When you get a bruise or a cut, it's a minor wound. But if someone slashes you with a sword or you fall off the roof of a house, it's a moderate wound. And the bite of a gigantic monster or a shot from a high-powered rifle is likely a major wound. Fortunately, armor can reduce the severity of a wound if you make a block roll, and the better the armor, the more it eases that roll. Alternatively, you can still make a dodge roll to avoid the damage entirely, but wearing armor makes that more difficult. These rules give players an interesting decision in combat, dodge or block. And depending on the character, one is probably a lot easier than the other. You can't really do both simultaneously. Circumstances play into this as well. Even if you're wearing incredible armor, if you're facing a soul-devouring ghost, you probably don't want it to touch you at all. And if someone's spraying dozens of bullets at you with an Uzi, even the most nimble character probably can't dodge them all. And they'll really wish they were wearing armor to block. Wounds can be healed in the ways you'd expect: first aid, technology, magic, rest, hospital stays. But in addition, you can use might points and a little time to remove a wound you've suffered. Narratively explaining that given a bit of time, you determine that it wasn't as bad as you had initially thought. Characters might have all manner of special abilities that allow them to ignore some wounds, withstand more wounds than normal, or reduce wound severity. Essentially, it is easy to create a character who is a proverbial tank that can take incredible amounts of punishment and keep going, as it is to create a character with amazing reflexes that no one can lay a hand on. Or you can make a character that doesn't focus on either of those things to avoid dangerous situations entirely, because there's so much to do in Cypher beyond just combat. And that's going to be more true than ever going forward. Whew. Now that was a lot to digest.
Yeah, and I really think that they listening to all the questions we asked and answered, because these were questions we asked 2 days ago. Like, how's armor going to work? Armor's totally going to be totally different again. So it's the 3rd time they're changing armor. I actually like this idea. I like this concept of being able to dodge or just straight up take the blow, like block.
You can dodge, you can tank, you can be middle of the road. Something else that this speaks to too is how he was talking about the different kinds of damage and how damage is mitigated. So for me, what that states is that some things, as much as this is going to change, some things are going to stay the same. So there may be some attacks that supersede the minor, moderate, or major wound and may actually attack a pool directly. A crazy mental attack, or some poison that you get in your system, and now it's causing your speed pool to be reduced. But it adds another layer now to what you can do as a GM and how creative you can be when it comes to your villains versus your players. It gets flexibility on both sides of the screen.
I do think. Remember last week you said that you think it's going to be optional either or. Now the way they're talking about this is going to be the rule the way all.
No. I'm seeing that now with this new design. I'm talking about, but I'm saying how we as the GM will be able to do things. And as players now, if players got all these options, you as a GM will have your set of options as well.
The wound system only applies to players. Like, right. I think the creature stat block, the only difference that you're going to get on a creature stat block is what type of wounds they do with their abilities. So, like something might give minor wounds, or they'll have one ability that does major wound. Mm-hmm. But other than that, I think that the creature stat blocks are going to be pretty much the same.
Oh yeah, I see that too. But like DM tells, he sees what I'm talking about. He says, "See, so it's the reverse of what happens now, where some damage goes right to the damage track." Yeah.
Yeah, the damage track and your stat pools are two separate things now. And that's still. Once again, I hate to be the voice of the other side, but if I don't have a problem with the way this is, I actually think this is pretty cool. And I'm all for it. But I also think that this design change wasn't meant for us. This design change is meant to attract new players to the Cypher.
Oh yeah, I think this design change. I think what you're saying is absolutely right. I think this design change not only is to attract new players, but to appeal to those people, like Monte was saying earlier in the article, where with the people with the D&D mindset, if you will. I think that's a good thing, because again, for us, we know how to roll with the punches, and we're going to make it do what it do. It's not going to break anything, and it doesn't take anything from the narrative nature of the game for us.
Oh, it doesn't change the core. I think the core gameplay loop of Cypher System is absolutely the same. It doesn't change it, and I think it's going to take us a little while getting used to, because it is a little more bookkeeping. Let's keep it real. It's slightly more bookkeeping. Because now you got to keep track of wounds, and the character sheet, like we said before, is going to actually have to have a slot to keep track of wounds.
Yeah, I mean, but again, I mean, come on, how big of a deal is that going to be? You know what I mean? It's not.
Also worth mentioning. D likes anything that sounds slightly negative. D's like, nah. It's also worth mentioning.
You know what it is? I'm going to tell you, and I need to clarify this for the world. I need to clarify this for the world, because you say it's not that. It's that it's just that after gaming for so long, I could sit and I could bitch and moan about every little thing, so many things about every game.
You're not bitching and moaning. You're like the old man saying, "Get off my lawn." Nobody's bitching and moaning. We're just stating facts.
And I'm stating my facts. Can I state a fact too? My fact is, and there are people out there that feel the same way I do. Guess what? No big fucking deal. Whatever. I mean, it'd be different if they were saying, okay, now we're going to have armor class, and now we're going to have hit points, and now we're going to... No, they're not doing that. And the new little pieces of bookkeeping that have to be done, well, guess what? This is what a lot of people ask for. So guess what? It's not that big of a deal. Oh, well. 2 tens in a bucket, motherfucker. Let's take it to the stage.
I haven't heard that. 2 tens in a bucket. I haven't heard that in a long time. Oh man, I used to have an uncle that used to say that all the time.
my grandfather would say it all the time, so that's where I got it from. So them old black men sitting on the porch, he's sitting back with a beer, and he had them conversations.
Yeah, but you got to admit, there is a slight, I mean, I don't think it's a major difference, but there is a slight bit more of upkeeping.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I don't think it's a big deal. I do think the character sheets are going to change. Also, last week we asked for 2 things updates on. We got one of them. So now I'm expecting the other update. Now we know how armor is going to work. Tell us how recovery rolls work next week or in the next thing, because that's also directly affected.
Yeah, recovery rolls. I'm very interested in how recovery is going to work.
I would like it to give you the option of both. Like,
if you
want to remove wounds or add points to your pool, that would be cool.
It was slightly addressed. That you will be able to use your pools in order to mitigate wounds versus
they said the might pool.
Right, using your might pool to mitigate wounds versus a recovery roll. Recovery rolls will probably still replenish your pools, but now you've got another aspect to have to spend points on, which I like.
And I could be wrong on this, and maybe I'm misunderstanding. How about that character that has a low might, and like the adept character that might start the game at tier 1 with 8 might points? If the only way to recover your wounds is using your might points, and you're using recovery rolls to recover,
It didn't say that was the only way. That it said that was one of the ways.
I'm saying, how about? I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying, how about?
I like it, but again, I like that idea too, though. I like the idea because again, that gives you the idea of your frail character, your character who is more frail. Again, it becomes a storytelling beat because every character isn't, The Rock, or Vin Diesel, who can't get beat in their movie. Every character is not that guy. So we need to have that. I like that option that, if you have a character with 8 might points and he decides that he wants to get rid of a wound, that, it's going to cost him something. I kind of like it.
I mean, they are going to have to address the recovery roll system, one way or another.
Oh, absolutely.
Me personally, I think to give them the choice either or, I think that would be the best route to go. But then again, they might go somewhere entirely different than we're not even expecting.
This is true. Like I said, my personal thought on it is less that it'll be optional and that everything will be baked into a scheme. So you might spend recovery rolls to get your points back, but some of those points might have to be spent to, get rid of wounds and so on and so forth. Again, we're all speculating. I think I would like it that way a little bit better because, again, the biggest thing that I've always had a frustration with when it came to RPGs was the idea of going to bed, getting up in the morning, and everything is replenished. That has always irked me. And when Cypher came along and wanted to be more narrative based, and I could run things like it was in a book or on a TV show where you see a character who is still reeling from damage that they took in a previous episode or previous 2 episodes or in a previous book, or even characters that had lasting damage. They had a wound that would never heal, in some fantasy games, or fantasy books. I like the fact that it seems like we're going to be able to get more into that.
Oh, they also implied, right, that certain mechanics are going to change according to the genre. So maybe the recovery roll system might be genre specific. Like you might have, in a post-apocalyptic world, you might have only your pools get replenished you can't recover your wounds. And in the Supers world, you recover double or whatever it is. Like they might go that way. We have no clue.
Now that I like that. I like that even more. That recovery starts becoming genre specific. That's cool as hell. Because like I said, we're not talking about our own stuff like that, but my Vigor rules had an idea like that. So that's kind of interesting. I wonder. I wonder just where things are going to go.
I think we have a good idea how wounds are going to work. We have a good idea how the damage track. I think that we won't fully know if this is more lethal or just more bookkeeping, or will run better, run faster until we actually get it on the table.
Right.
But I think even with this framework, we could start testing this out on the Discord.
Oh, yeah.
I think we have a better idea. But I will say one thing, and I said it in the last video. This is going to change ciphers. Any combat-related cipher is going to have to either be reworded or what are you doing, dude? It looks like you were sucking on a shoestring.
Oh no, it's a shilajit honey stick.
Or because you with your background, it was like overlay. I couldn't really see. Yeah, but yes, I think all the combat related ciphers, they're gonna have. I think the effects of the ciphers are the same, but the wording and the phrasing might have to be changed.
Yeah. Well, he said there has to be genre specifics that where you're going to end up with GURPS. Well,
Yeah.
they've already made it a point to say that there's going to be a lot of genre specific ideas, character creation, and so on and so forth. So I'm definitely thinking that we're probably going to see mechanics that will end up being genre specific, and I could just very much see them doing recovery rolls and damage systems. This base damage system, but built around the genre you're in.
If they go, oh, I'm sorry, dude.
No, I'm sorry.
If they go in the 2-book route, I would love them to really like hone in on the ciphers and artifacts and take all the best popular ones from all the white books and all the setting books and put them in the cipher in the whatever the GM section book, right? And like rephrase all the important ones, the ones that that get used a lot. So that way there wouldn't be any complaints of, oh, hey, I grabbed this from this book, but how is it going to work? You know what I mean? Even though I don't think the conversion is going to be hard to do realistically, but just to avoid that complaint.
More so than that, what I would like to see, and it's still along the same lines of what you're saying, I would like to see genre-specific ciphers. I would like at the end of each genre, there's a set of specific ciphers. Each section. That way, it would even make it easier for you as a GM to come up with ciphers for that genre. I think that would really be like a big thing.
I think they're going to rehash a lot of the cipher, a lot of the ciphers, and they could put it in that section. They just need to reword them.
Yeah. Oh no, I understand that. Or just put title. You know how remember in the old book we had occult ciphers and manifest ciphers. So why not just have sci-fi ciphers, fantasy ciphers, grit ciphers or whatever? If they just did it that way, I think that would be like way cool in the sense that
to be honest, I think the way you're describing it is the way they're going to do it.
I hope so. I mean, I like I said, that's a pipe dream.
So right now, you get 5 minor wounds becomes
a moderate wound. You get 4 moderate wounds becomes a major wound. You get 3 major wounds and you're dead. So if you look at that scaling, that's what 5, 9, 5, 9, 12.
So we got to see what the damage scale is. So, like, because like right now you have light, medium, and heavy weapons, right?
Correct.
So it's a heavy weapon. How is that? What's a heavy weapon going to mean to a character now? Like,
well, see,
what I'm asking is, what 6 point damage? 6 points of damage. Is it a major wound or is it a moderate wound?
Right. Well, I think again, they haven't explained it yet, but again, I think Monte kind of hinted at it. I don't think the damage that the weapon does is going to have anything to do with what kind of wounds it delivers anymore. I think the weapons are going to have a category. It's a this weapon does major damage. These weapons do moderate damage. These weapons do,
Yeah,
what's the name? And
yeah,
so, but wait a minute. But no, what I'm saying is I think that they're going to break the weapons down like that, right? But then here's the thing. You'll have heavy weapons inside a minor wound category. Let's just say, let's just say they say a steel whip does moderate damage because it's got the steel tendrils on it, right? But it's a light weapon. So it does 4 points of damage, but how many moderate wounds does 4 points equate to? I think it's going to be something like that.
You see, Ken Hub brought up a great point. He said NPCs still have health, so they can't totally change the damage of the weapons. The PCs haven't changed how they damage things. So if PCs still have light, medium, and heavy, right, they're gonna have to have a damage track version of light, medium, and heavy. Because if not, it's gonna get too effing confusing.
Right, and I agree with you.
Because then I don't understand what you were saying before. Like, that's what I mean. Like, how does like they're gonna
I'll put it this way. I think they're just going to put, and again, I could be wrong. I could be absolutely and utterly wrong. I'm just throwing a speculation. The way I see it, I would say every minor wound may be 2 points. But if this weapon does 6 points of damage, but it's a light weapon, guess what? You just took 3 moderate wounds from one blow from that weapon. But if it was a moderate,
let me ask, Caleb, you said NPCs don't use light, medium, and heavy weapons. You have a baseball bat that's a medium weapon. So an NPC can't hit you with a baseball bat? Right now, you would just take 4 points of damage.
What he's looking at is...
hold on, let me finish my question. My question is, how is that, are they deciding is that going to be moderate damage or a light damage, or whatever the damage is?
Okay, and where Cat Hub is coming from is because 9 times out of 10, when you look at a NPC, the NPC, it just has a damage. It just tells you how much damage it does. But what Anthony is saying, and me and Anthony have done this in our games, we have given NPCs that might say they do 3 points of damage, but we'll give them a medium weapon, and now they do 4 points of damage with that weapon, or give them a heavy weapon. I'm saying that's what Ketup is saying. Ketup is looking at it that when you look at, if you look at, let's just say a goblin.
I think we're all saying the same thing. It's just that I'm just saying is that they need to, we need to know what that looks like. So I'm just bringing up scenarios, right? How does player-to-player conflict work then? If you don't have a specific wound designation to a weapon. So how about if, which comes up in play all the time when 2 players argue and they fight. If there's no wound designation to a weapon, how are you going to decide what damage it does?
Right. No, and I agree. That's why I said I think weapons are going to find themselves in categories. These weapons do minor wounds. These type of weapons do major wounds. Because what Monte said, like a high-powered rifle or being bitten, but being slashed by a sword could be a moderate wound. So I'm thinking that weapons are going to start falling into categories, and those categories are going to denote. So, for example, is 4 points of damage equal to how many minor wounds, or 6 points of damage is equal to how many minor wounds? So, and I'm thinking those categories are going to be able to tell.
That's what
Yeah, that's oh no, but I'm saying this is how I'm seeing it in my mind. I could be absolutely and utterly wrong, but this is where my brain is. This is where my brain is on all of it. That's all.
No, I mean, that's all I'm asking. There has to be a tag. If a major weapon, a wound, I want to know to go back to our original point, right? I want to know what the scale is, or how common is moderate wounds, how common is major wounds on creatures, so then we could actually see the how durable characters are going to be at a tier 1. Because
No,
like
I
say
agree.
the goblin dealing, even though I doubt that this will be the case, but let's just assume that they come up with a goblin chieftain that deals major wounds, right? So you have 3 goblins that deal minor wounds. There's 1 guy that deals major wounds. He'll hit a character once or twice and knocks him down the damage track.
This is true.
Like,
That could happen. I mean, I just think, I could be overthinking it. I mean, that's what Mike said. He said, I think AD is overthinking it. I could be. But again, I think that there's just going to be designations on things to let you know what kind of wounding, how they wound people. That's all.
you know what's the one thing I like about the wound system that narratively is going to be real good to explain? It's going to be a lot easier to explain to players the condition that they're in. Like, hey, you just took 2 moderate wounds. Like, describe how your character looks as opposed to you took 12 points of damage.
Right.
You know what I mean?
With might damage. Yeah. I mean, I think that's fair.
I think it's going to be way easier for players and the GM to visualize how much damage a player has taken.
I am MC22 says, sorry, PvP doesn't work well now, so no change. The truth of the matter is, when it comes to PvP, I think I may have only had 1 PvP instance in all of these years that I've been playing Cypher. Most people seem to focus on the story, and it doesn't delve in. It doesn't devolve into player-to-player conflict. So
I think it comes up in supers though.
Even in my supers games, I've never really had it happen. You know what? I've had NPCs go up against, superhero NPCs go up against superhero player characters, but never the players themselves. I never had full campaigns where people are fighting to kill each other, but there's definitely been contested roles of somebody trying to stop the rogue from doing something stupid. Like it comes up, and as a game, you have to have a rule for it, or at least a way of handling it. Oh, absolutely. I'm not disputing that. I'm just saying, in my experience, it's been very rare. And normally, like you said, how that works is I just do two contested roles.
They have a rule for it.
Right.
But what I'm saying is that if damage came into play, and once again, it was going by your initial statement that it isn't changing. The only reason why I brought it up in the first place was to say, hey, if it isn't changing, what will happen in a contested player versus player role where they have a flat damage number on their weapon? There has to be a conversion to the wound system. That was the only reason why I brought it up in the first place.
Oh no, you know what? And here's the thing. I think a way they could actually do it. Just another thought that just ran through my head. Just imagine. Let's just say the weapons still have their flat numbers, but depending on how many levels of effort you put into it, that will change the damage type. So it might be just a normal. It does. Minor damage. It's a minor damage weapon. It's a light weapon. Does 2 points of damage. But you know what? I'm gonna put a level of effort into it. Now it does moderate damage. Or I'm gonna put 2 levels of effort into it. Now it does major damage. Maybe something along those lines. I mean, there's so many ways that you could, play with that idea.
I mean, I think the quickest, easiest one is to just designate a light weapon does minor wounds, a moderate, does 3 minor wounds. Because I don't think 6 points should be major wound unless I'm like vastly miscalculating how the character, how squishy the characters are going to be. I'm not expecting 6 points to be a major wound. Are you expecting that? I'm expecting something like 10 points to be a major wound.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I was saying. That's what I was thinking about the categories. Just like just like when you were saying a gigantic monster or high powered sniper rifle. I'm thinking that there's going to be categories of things that do major and moderate wounds, and I don't think it's going to be a number designation, so to speak, in the same respect that we're thinking.
I am MC23 says, I don't think that we might get multiple. That might be a case too. Yeah, I mean, I'm curious to see how that's going to work. Yeah. And Jason says, I don't allow PvP.
Well, I mean, wait a minute, Jason. How are you going to not allow PvP? And you just made a game called Six Gun Doomsday. You, I mean, gunslinger.
And he has a dueling mechanic. You gonna tell me you're gonna put a dueling mechanic in a game and it's not gonna be two players that want to duel each other? I'm really
Yeah, this is one area me and Anthony gonna get on you on, man. Come on now. Oh man.
No, I agree. PvP doesn't come up often, but it doesn't mean that you can't have like some sort of ruling on it.
Right. I mean, the only thing that the difference is with Cypher is that it's because there are two different things on how NPCs run and players run. You know, we just have to find the fine line on how those are going to be operating. Because I think at the end of the day, you know, PvP really shouldn't come up in most games, but it does. You know, that's all.
And you see, me, I don't really care. If players want to beat the crap out of each other, let them go ahead.
Yeah, me either. Like I said, I don't care. I'm put it this way: when I sit down at the table and I'm gonna run a game, the first thing on my mind is not that my players are getting ready to square off against each other. They should be more worried about me, you know, on the other side of the table because I'm the problem. That's all I'm saying.
But I do remember the 15-year-old me getting in an argument with someone in game, and then whatever the story was, you know, when you have 4 15-year-olds and a 15-year-old GM, it becomes, you know, it's like, you remember that West Side Story scene where the guy punches him and then they both take off their jackets? Like, that was half on D&D sessions. Like, what?
Yeah.
You said so?
Well, and again,
rogues are not effective? Give me 5 feet.
Let me show you what a rogue can do. Yeah, I mean,
and then half the session is young guys beating the crap out of each other.
but
So,
again,
you know,
but see, and that's all I'm saying. And I agree with you. We talking about 15 years, and that again was also the era though when we lived in, where it was the DM versus the players, and then it was everybody versus everybody because everybody was min maxing and trying to come up with the best build and so on and so forth. Where we're talking about moving more into a story. So, I mean, we could narratively just tell it.
Some people say MCG does, Cypher System does have PvP rules, y'all. It's in Stars of Fire. You roll 2 D20s and you add whatever assets you have to the roll, and whoever rolls higher wins. They do have PvP rules.
Right.
They have,
right. So, I mean, and the thing about it is, you know, people say it doesn't work well, but I think it works great. You know, because
I was always a fan of contested roles ever since the, you know, since what you call it, Rifts.
Palladium days, yeah, the Palladium days.
Does it? Ain't nothing wrong with a good old fashioned contested role.
No, and that's what I'm saying. I like it. You know, I tell you, in the one game that I did do, have that situation. What I did was, I told the players, write down on a square paper all your assets, all your additions to the roll, and slide it across the table to me. You know, this way, and then, you know, face down. Then both of you roll. Then both of you roll, and then I would add everything up, and boom, there it is. Whoever had the best at the end of it, you know, easy. You know,
you add your assets if you want to apply effort, whatever it is, and all those things are just 3 to the natural die roll.
Jason, now Jason gave out. He said, "I don't allow PvP in my games. IGM. It doesn't mean I won't be part of a game. I right?"
Jason, you got one more week, right, before your game goes on back a kid, right? I think it drops next week.
I think so. Yeah, because we I literally, and it's funny, I literally just dropped some optional damage. I don't know if you looked at it in our Cypher Gurus page, but I just dropped a thing in there for him for an optional way to do damage that I had built for the September Legacy. And now I'm putting it in a paradigm shift, with a broad variance to it, for specific to do different genres. So we'll see what happens, man.
All right, guys. So first off, what do you think of this? I think this is fully fleshed out. And if anybody wants to, let's hook up on the Discord sometime this week and let's play around with this. Let's pull like 2 or 3 monsters, random monsters out of the bestiary, and try to do some combats with this wound system. Because I think now we have the basic shell of it. So now we can figure it out. And then let's do some contested roles with the wound system. Let's do some PvP, and we'll have a Luffy Pooh fight. We'll have Jason fight a Luffy Pooh first. Me and you will go at it. Maybe Al will fight somebody. We'll do a round robin with some characters.
We need to get. You know what? Let's have Al go up against Ketchup because Ketchup always got a little salty remark. So
anybody want to be part of this round robin PvP? Hit us up on the Discord. We'll make it happen. But it'll be using whatever this wound system is, and we'll figure out like what the weapons will do on the wound system. Right. I'm curious to see because I think IMMC said that certain like it's only going to be it's not going to be multiple wounds on an attack, and I think it's going to be different. I think in order to pare down the lethality, they might have to have, instead of something dealing a major wound, they might have to have, this deals 2 moderate wounds, or medium weapon, this deals 2 light wounds. But I could be wrong. This is just me, talking out my butt.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think you might be onto something, Anthony, only because of the way Monte explained it. You get 5 minor wounds, 4 moderate wounds, and 3 major.
Yeah.
Right, and 3 major. So I think there's going to have to be a backward compatibility as well, or not compatibility, but a backward formula. So you might be onto something.
Yeah. Mike said he wants to bring back Sister Prudence. That was the character he played in my Tolis campaign. Hell no, I'm not fighting Sister. Yo, she was like the ultimate monk. She was beating the crap out of people. I said, you can bring her for the round robin as long as I don't get to fight you. Or I'll fight you in the final. I'm not fighting you in the first round. That character was a tank.
Nice. Oh, man. But yeah, I mean, if that's the case, no, I mean, we're at our time, Anthony. But final thought for me is that thank you, MCG Monte, for answering our questions, and thank you for paying attention to what the community wants. And I can't wait to see what the next one we get is.
And thank you for the content. You're keeping the lights on in the CU offices.
Yeah, absolutely.
we got something to talk about every 2 days, so I'm really excited about that. And I'm getting more and more excited with every single one of these documents. And every question that I have is being answered within days, and so now we want to know about how does the wound compare to weapons and recovery rolls. So answer those 2 questions, Monte, if you can. But I'm getting more and more excited with every single one of these. Like most of my fears have gone fully away, and now I'm just on the excited mode. And I'm dead serious. We have enough information right here to start using this on a character and see what it looks like.
Yeah, and I think that's a good idea. Let's do it because, I mean, heck,
how the creatures work. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, well, I think that might be the next thing because we were talking about NPCs and how they're, if they're going to be changed or they do moderate damage or whatever. So it would definitely be, it's definitely, something I got my ear to the ground for, something I want to know. So, Ant, take us home.
All right, so before I go into my spiel, once again, guys, CypherCon 2025 player sign up is active now. Head on over to the Cypher Unlimited Discord, grab a hold of the Sign Up Genius link, and join the game. Like I said, about half the games are already full, or totally full. So get in what you can fit in. We might be adding some more slots, but that's still not confirmed. So and there's still some great games available, guys. I have a game on Sunday available. I know Dean has a game on Sunday available. We have Eric Frankhouse, the four-time Gen Con Iron GM. He has like 4 slots available on his Mecha game.
And so, people, if you have not played Warpaint, I don't mean to cut you off, but I have to give that. Warpaint is freaking awesome for mechs. If you want to play Cypher mechs and you want to feel like you're in a mech doing your thing, get into a Warpaint game. Eric Frankhouse has something special there.
Luther Poof said he still needs some people to sign up for his Sunday afternoon game. What's the name of it so I can shout it out right now?
What's the name of your game, Aloof?
You can find a Luther Poof, what you call it, when you go to the Sign Up Genius. He's a hell of a player and a great GM. So check out, we still have quite a few games that need some players. And it's called Payback Time. And that's Sunday evening. I think that's the funny thing. The Sunday games haven't been filling as much as I thought they would. Usually the Sunday games, the Friday games are the ones that are filling up faster, which is kind of
Friday and Saturday. My Saturday game, I think I have 1 slot left in my Saturday game, and then I had like 3 slots left in my Sunday night game. The last time I looked, I don't know what it looks like now, but yeah.
All right, so head on over there and get us some games, and dudes, and do that. It's totally free. So there's nothing to lose from playing at CypherCon. So I don't understand why you wouldn't want to do it. If you like us and you like what we do, join the Cypher Unlimited Discord server for all things Monte Cook Games. We have the largest fan-run Discord server for everything MCG. But if Discord's not for you, join our Facebook group. Not as big as our Discord, but still great conversations being had there daily. Our videos are always free, but if you want to help us out financially in any way, you could give us a little donation on Ko-fi or go to our online store and pick up some cool Cypher Unlimited merch like the shirt Dean has on or the hat I got on. We're trying to build all our platforms up at the same time, so give us a sub and a follow here on Twitch or anywhere on Moonbeam. Please give us a follow there, or go to our YouTube channel and like, share, and subscribe our videos there. And if you watch us on YouTube, please leave a comment. It helps us out with the algorithm. Any little help you could give us would be so greatly appreciated. And last but not least, we love you guys.
You forgot one thing. The CypherCon t-shirts will be up soon, and they are bangers. You guys, if you haven't seen the designs, KetHub and Sin did phenomenal work. I mean, phenomenal. I'm going to have at least 4 t-shirts and probably 2 or 3 hats because I want all the designs and I want them in some different colors. They're awesome.
I'm thinking about getting matching coffee mugs, one with KetHubs and one with Sins.
Yeah, that's a good idea too. Like I said, I'm gonna have a bunch of merch. I'm probably gonna spend like $100 on merch.
I'm definitely getting shirts and stickers. That's without a doubt.
Oh yeah, definitely got, because I want to put stickers on my luggage. So when I travel, it's easy to find my luggage when it comes to the thing.
All right, Al, you can take us away.
So thank you guys, Ant and Dean, for talking about these updates. Definitely nice to see the wound system explained a little better, that we can actually try it out, and definitely hop on the Discord for more discussion on that and actually the attempts on trying it out, like Anthony was saying earlier. Thank you everyone in the audience for coming on and talking about these updates with us. It's definitely
Al, who you want in the first round?
I get up, like we were saying.
You call him out.
But either way, thank you guys again in the audience. This is height of the speculation season for the new Cypher system stuff. So definitely having you guys in the audience talking with us helps us flesh out our speculation. So thank you. And again, join the Discord and join us for CypherCon. And I'll post a link one more time for the sign up genius. Just put it out there one more time. And yeah, thank you. And from us at the CU, we will see you later. Peace.